everybody. Are you kidding me? A buzzer beater in the first game of the tournament. This is March, baby. And with March comes the tournament, of course. And with the tournament comes the big DFS bread, a 25K to first contest that we're talking about here on this show. And who else would you rather see on your viewing device to break down that Thursday DFS slate than Mike Holland? He joins me to do just that right now, recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Once again, for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos. One and Done, your fast break of college basketball. Información. And we are powered by the galaxy's greatest websites as I do an audio change live on air in the open. We are powered by drroto.com. My name is Jay Heinrich, the sometimes humble host of this thing, and I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train at Dr. William Cannon on X. I'll follow you back, but I know who you're here for. El Capitan himself. The OG Money Mike, yes, you, at MC Holland 34 on X. The OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, we got ourselves a bracket. We got ourselves some big bread to win on Thursday. How you feeling right now?
It's a 16-gamer, man, so we got a lot to cover. Tips off at 12:15 Eastern Time, 25K to first. I have way too much money invested in the slate. I'm actually already tired. I've been looking at the slate since Monday. I'm already ready for a new slate. I feel like this one's played out a few times already. But what I am excited about is our One and Done Invitational is back for its first NCAA Tournament appearance here. So we'll drop the link in the description, also in the chat there. I think we have 12 spots already filled. It's $5. I'm trying to get up to 50, so if we can max this thing out at 50. Join us. Let's have a little bit of fun. We'll try to do one for Friday's contest as well. We'll just keep this train rolling. I know we've had a lot of fun, a lot of different winners. Just love to shout that out, man. So, yeah, excited. And, man, what do you got? What else we got going on here, Jay?
Ooh, I think you know what we got going on. It's the live chat, the liveliest live chat in all of college hoops. Our guy Michael Peterson's been the first to hop in a couple of shows in a row now, at least. What's good, Michael? Always good to see you there in the chat. Dimitri Dash hopping in. Yeah, you and every other member of Tar Heel Nation.
Cam and Jeremy.
Yeah, and we've seen you all flexing on the old X accounts, Cam, Forklift Jeremy, but I totally understand it for sure. Yeah, Cam's in a great mood. Of course he is. Let's go. Cam's in a good mood because he knows we got some bread to win here on this Thursday slate. So make sure you be like Cam and hit the like and subscribe button. Turn on the notification bells so you don't miss a minute of our coverage all the way through the tournament and after. You know, this is 365 days a year. We're not just hopping on this for the first time this week, baby. And we got some breadheads in the chat, some OGs that know that. So make sure you hop in there with them. Let's move in, Mike, to this one. 16 gamer tips at 12:15 Eastern Time. I mentioned it earlier, 25K to first. You got Survivor contest. You got plenty of other contests to kick off, the actual real life tournament. Although, UNC fans might say otherwise right now. And as Texas supporters, we may say otherwise after Wednesday. But either way, Mike, what's your quick overview of this one before we get into it?
Yeah, man. So just kind of looking at it real quick before we dive into these games, man, it's obviously a big slate, 16 games. So in for a marathon, solid value out there already. Nobody over 10.5K, not even Janai Broom. So the mid majors are priced up. Talked about that on a Twitter post, but we got everything on this one, man. When you have 16 games, like there are a number of ways to attack it. There are a bunch of different spreads, a bunch of different totals, man. I'm ready to dive into this thing, Jay.
Yeah, same for sure. And it's a 16 gamer, like you said. So, a lot to take in here. Make sure you hit that One and Done bracket challenge that's being dropped in the chat. Make sure you hit the DraftKings MC Holland 34 Classic, as we like to call it. Oh, Mike, what? Don't shake your head.
There it is, man.
That's not his gimmick. That's mine. I promise you. But yeah, get into all of the contests that you see. We got the DraftKings one coming up. for one and done for the breadheads. We got the one and done bracket challenge over on Yahoo. That just is that's going to get dropped in there pretty soon here in the live chat. So make sure you do all those things. We would love to see you in the live chat. Boom, right on command. Not on command, on what's the word I'm looking for? On demand, on right on time, just like my guy at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets is with all the hot takes and all the information. Eric the Blue, appreciate him tonight at Fantasy Nav. And of course, CC Hustle, the Hall of Famer himself, filling in, producing a couple of shows here leading up to March Madness. We definitely appreciate him as well at The Real Napier. All right, let's get into it, Mike. A 16-game slate, starting with Creighton and Louisville. You see it on the rundown there on the side of your screen next to Mike's face on your viewing device. Starting with Creighton and Louisville. A Louisville team probably a little bit underseeded. They let everybody know about it. That's their chip on their shoulder. We'll see if it works because who's going to stop Kalkbrenner. But anyways, let's start with those Creighton Blue Jays. 72 implied points on this side. And, of course, if you're new to One and Done, welcome. We appreciate you. Hit all those buttons. We use Ken Palm's metrics a lot on this show, like saying that Creighton is 192nd in tempo and, Louisville is 90th. So there's going to be some possessions in this one. Pace up for Creighton. The problem is Louisville plays a little bit of defense, 21st in defensive efficiency. The good thing for Ryan Kalkbrenner is there's not a lot of rim protection, like I hinted at earlier, for Louisville. So Kalkbrenner, absolute stud, 9,700 on this slate, near max minutes, and we're going to want that if we're paying this price, right? Raynaud and Shefflin have feasted recently against this Louisville side, and I feel like, Mike, you have the floor there for Kalkbrenner, right? He's not just going to nuke your lineup, even if he doesn't go 5x, 4.5x, whatever you want out of him. He's not gonna totally kill your lineup. That makes him a really nice spend up option, in my opinion, on the slate.
Yeah, I like him for any format, really. 9,700. That's not a bad price point for him. These three studs that they have, they're all going to play 37 plus minutes. We could even see Ashworth and Neal touch 40 minutes. So I'm definitely in on Kalkbrenner. I'm going to be playing a ton of lineups, so I have a lot of exposure to different studs, and he's definitely in line, especially going against this Louisville front court here. Ashworth at 8,400. Another nice floor play. He's going to play nearly every minute, a high assist and three-point upside. I do worry about the old Chucky Hepburn defense for his ceiling. So I think he's in line for a little more of a cash target. Jemiah Neal, that guard court eligibility, he's settled around the 7 to 7,500 price tag here. Also, it's just a great floor at this price tag for him. He does a little bit of everything. Doesn't quite have the ceiling as the other two in general. But I think in this matchup, his floor is probably a little bit safer for me than Ashworth here. And then you kind of got the other two guys, right? Jackson McAndrew, Jason Green. I think between the two, I prefer Jason Green here. McAndrew's 5,200, but he's very volatile. Green here at 4,800, so you save $400. If he's going to play 30-plus minutes, I love it, but it could be a trap because we've only seen that in the last couple of games, right? I know we saw it against Seton Hall, a couple of weeks ago, but this kind of happened last year where he started toward the tournament time playing 30-plus minutes. He's a really solid player, but the metrics, they don't jump off the page, not a high shot rate. He's going to need boards and stocks, so more of a secondary value piece, I think, as we talk about some other guys on the slate. But what do you think about this Louisville side here, Jay?
Defense isn't too slouch-like on the Creighton side either here. So, again, the tempo is going to be all right, but both of these teams play a little bit of defense. So, again, if you're going to spend up, you got to like the floor for Kalkbrenner there. I do like some of those cheaper players on the Creighton side as well. Louisville, though, Chucky Hepburn, Mr. Buzzer Beater himself, you like the floor here, right? 30-plus fantasy points. Not mad at him for the cash type stuff. Maybe smaller tournaments. I don't know if I'm super excited about him in the big one if we're trying to win 25K there. He's going to have to get red hot from deep, right? If he gets on fire, obviously, then Chucky Hepburn's your guy. But I don't feel good about it. That's the stocks, right? The counting stats are there, Mike, for Chucky. You talked about the defense earlier when we were talking about the other side of this game. The stocks are there for Chucky. Can he hit some threes? Is he just going to sort of hover around at this price? 40 probably doesn't do it for me, So I don't I don't know if I want to touch him in the bigger ones.
That's a price tag, man. I mean, look, we just talked about Kalkbrenner at 9,700. Like, there's an opportunity cost because we have a ton of forwards that have these big ceilings, right? So I don't know, even though I'm playing a bunch of lineups, I don't know that I'm going to click Chucky Hepburn, even though we have drop coverage. Like, he's not a great shooter. So probably off more than I am on Hepburn. Not messing around with Terrence Edwards. We got the news today that Rain Smith is going to be back, which kind of throws a wrench into Edwards and Hadley, right? Hadley sitting here at 6,700. These guys were playing 38 minutes or so, him and Edwards. I think we see them come back down to closer to like 35, 34, and that matters, especially with Edwards' price tag. With Hadley, I never get excited. He does have double-double outside. He does have good three-point shooting ability, so it gives him a little bit bigger ceiling for this price tag, but he just doesn't shoot the ball a ton, and his stocks, they definitely drag down his floor. The one guy that I am interested in, I think is going to be a key in this game for the Louisville side, is James Scott at 5,600. Like, they obviously don't have much size. They're probably going to need him playing closer to 30, 32 minutes in this one. Solid rebounder. Not really someone that has like this huge turning upside, but just more of like a solid play, right? So smaller tournaments, cash type games I can see. I'm not touching Rain Smith or Noah Waterman. They're just kind of too expensive for this game, at least.
The winner of this game most likely has Auburn waiting for them in the second round. Good luck there, fellas. I don't know, man. Like, again, there's 16, so many games right on this slate. There's going to be so many opportunities to spend up. Kalkbrenner is a good one there to spend up. And I'm with you, man. I don't know if I can get on Chucky either. So good stuff there. One game down, a ton to go. We're going to get this thing rolling here, but not before we talk about our friends over at BracketBids. The bracket is here. It's officially here, as a matter of fact, and we're all going to fill one out, of course. We've been talking about it. The one-and-done bracket challenges in the live chat as we speak. However, we're not talking about brackets necessarily filling out it from the line by line. We're talking about a level up in March by going over to BracketBids for their auction draft style leagues. Yes, that's right, that fantasy sports approach that sometimes we take, whether it's football or basketball or baseball. If you're like me and Mike, you've been playing the same keeper leagues for over a decade and a half, and it is what it is there. But this is a different approach. This is something you have not been able to do for 15 years. Our friends at BracketBids had the idea to make a fantasy sports style auction draft for this. You can set up your league using different scoring metrics. Invite all of the people that you were going to invite to your bracket anyway. The uncle you don't like, the cousin that you hate sitting next to at the family reunion, whatever it is. Invite them all. The coworker that you just only have to talk to because he's in charge of the staples. Bring them over to BracketBids.com or the BracketBids app. Download it today. Create your account. Get over there and hang out with our friends at BracketBids. We're going to try to send out some invitations for our BracketBids challenge here. So make sure, if you're an OG in the chat, if you're an OG in the chat, or if you want one of those invitations, hit us up and we're going to send you one out. We're going to try to get something done over there at BracketBids. Good stuff there. Promo code BREAD. I almost forgot the most important part. Promo code BREAD for 40% off of your league activation fee once you get down there. So it's like this, guys. It's easy peasy. Promo code BREAD, because we're getting this bread with our friends at BracketBids. All right, second game on this slate. High Point at Purdue, a game that a lot of people have been circling and saying, oh, wow, there's your 4-13 upset right there. A team that hasn't freaking played a quad one opponent in 2.5 decades, it feels like. I don't know, man. Just a lot of unknowns in this one, but I do like the implied total here of 155 points for sure. 73 of those are on High Point's side. Neither one of these teams is in the top 200 in tempo. I don't know, man. Is there a lot to get excited about on this High Point side? I mean, that 53rd in bench minutes used in the country. We talked about it on Twitter the other day, or at least we had a thread going. You tweeted and I replied. Like everybody that you want to spend or that you want to spend for on this High Point side is between 5,600 and 6,600. Anybody worth even mentioning, and it's almost just like if the starters are going to get theirs, which direction do you go on this side, Mike?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Kamani Hamilton and Keza Gifa, though, are kind of are the most interesting. So it depends on where you project their minutes. So I've got Kamani playing around 28 minutes or so. I think we see the starters get to their potential minutes here, especially their best players, which are Hamilton and Gifa here. So for Hamilton, 28% usage rate. He rebounds. He's got an assist rate for a bigger guy. Decent stock upside too. He does all of his damage inside, and it's a 2-point boost here for High Point. Purdue has not stopped anybody inside. 350th an opponent 2-point percentage. So Kamani Hamilton, definitely interesting. If you project these guys for a few minutes extra, right, they really start looking good and getting to that over 4x value. Keza here, like we've seen him reach back and go for 30 fantasy points. And, the last 6 games that were decided that they played by 10 points or less, he's seen an average of 32 minutes. So when they're closer games, they haven't played a lot of close games because they've blown out a lot of people. But his rates are nice, 25% usage, 24% shot, 16% assist rate, which that was a little bit higher. So really going to have to score the ball. He's $500 cheaper than Hamilton. He can do damage inside and outside. There's not much stock upside. This is what you would get for with Hamilton, that rebounding and stock upside. But I think for both of these guys, a tournament only. If you project, because at 28 minutes, right, it's not gonna look great. It's not gonna hit that 4x. But if you project him for 32 to 34 minutes, like he's been getting in closer games, I'd imagine he's going to be on the floor for a few extra minutes here playing Purdue, trying to pull the upset. Now you start to kind of get over that 4x value. The rest of these guys, man, it's just so tough because the minutes have been so volatile. Bobby Pettiford, he's at 6K. He has that nice assist rate, a 3% steal rate. His ceiling's around 5x, so he can get to 28 to 30 fantasy points. But I would probably only use these guys in the 25K to first, right? Like if you pick the right guy that's going to go off, they can definitely get to 4.5 to 5x, but it's going to take a huge number with 16 games. So I just don't know that I'm messing with any of these guys. Demorian Williams, even Bodo. I like Bodo as a player, but as far as can he play the minutes, right? And he's had a tough matchup with TKR. I don't love it, but if you're playing the large field, I think you have to consider Hamilton and Keza Gifa here.
Something to consider, Purdue is 350th in the country in opponent 2-point percentage this year. So, just death by 1,000 paper cuts. If High Point can keep this thing close and Purdue has to play all their guys big minutes like Braden Smith, I get it. Cam saying he's about to cook this defense. It's very possible that he will. I'm not too surprised that would be Cam's opinion here because Cam knows ball. And this is even with Braden Smith coming off a couple of down games by his standards, right? He's probably he might play all 40.
Probably.
He might.
If it's within 10, yeah, he's playing all 40.
Another guy that won't kill you if you spend up for him, right? He's not going to just nuke in your lineup and end your day early, like the floor for sure. I mean, this is a Koozie Award finalist here. Is there a better point guard in the country than Braden Smith?
Probably not.
I mean, we could talk about Clayton maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
We've been talking about. I've been saying this and hinting at this all season that Braden Smith is in that conversation for sure. But he's a great play on all formats, Mike. Another great spend up for sure. Who else on this Purdue side, especially 82? I talked about how the pace, the tempo might not be there overall, but these are two teams that can put the ball in the bucket.
Yep.
These matchups for these teams are, in terms of being able to score the ball, are great. Assists are going to be there for some of these guards if we can find it. So anyways, Braden Smith, 9,900 on this one. Who else you got on the Purdue side?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the same all year, right? It's the two studs. And then I won't say his name yet because I just never play him. But Trey Kaufman-Renn is 9,100. This is a tougher matchup inside. We know he has the double-double upside. It's just hard to see him kind of outscoring, all the studs by a wide margin. So that's why I'm not in love with it. Like I'd rather spend, for a Kalkbrenner guys in that territory, right? So I like Braden's matchup a lot better than I do with Kaufman-Renn. Bodo, top 10 in offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding percentage. He's got a 7% block rate. So just don't love the matchup. Contrarian tournament play for me. And then there's a lawyer here, Fletcher Lawyer. Super shot dependent. He's 5K in a projected team total of 82. Could we see a minutes increase? Like he typically in closer games will play 30 to 33 minutes, right? But could we see 34, 35? I think it's potential for that, but I just still think he's more in line for cash because he just doesn't do anything other than score the basketball.
Well, how confident are you that he can get you to 30 fantasy points? Because that to me,
won't.
that
yeah, he won't.
20.
Pretty confident he'll get you to 20. I like his floor. Like he's gonna have a really solid floor in this matchup.
There we go. Now we know. You like the
floor.
But
I mean, 25 is 5x. So I mean, if he gets hot from 3, right, he can absolutely get there. But I never plan because I hate when you have to be so shot dependent, even at 5K, because he literally doesn't do anything else. So it's kind of one of those things. Like you need some couple of maybe happen.
Couple of cheapies on this side too, Mike. Right? That we at least got to look at.
Yeah, I mean they have First and Cox. I mean they're under 4K. They're both 3,900. I'm probably not gonna play either guy just because they just don't get over that 20 to 22 minute mark. And then we have a lot better value in this one. So more of like secondary value plays. So if you want to stack like one of these cheapies with one of the studs, then I get that. See if this game maybe goes into overtime or something.
Darren coming in hot, joining us late because he was watching Impractical Jokers, that basketball lead in. Right now, Impractical Jokers, easy to get hooked. Totally understand that, but always good to see Darren here in the live chat and over hanging out with us on the socials as well at One and Done CBB over there on X. Follow us at One and Done CBB on X, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky as well, I guess. One and Done CBB on all those places. Make sure you follow us. Just do yourself a favor. You follow 8 million accounts anyway. Just do ours too. Definitely should, okay? Darren, is that really the impression you want to make here on some of the, we're going to have a lot of first-time viewers at One and Done. Yeah, actually, I don't blame you one bit. Hey, can they avoid it? Can they find a way to avoid it? We shall see. Next game on this one, Montana and Wisconsin. Gonna put you in a mansion somewhere out in Wisconsin. We're going to start with the Montana side of this one, though, first. And unfortunately, the aforementioned Badgers play a little bit of defense themselves here. Only 67 implied points for Montana. However, for the old Grizz. So, listen, when I'm going to look at Montana, an 18-point dog, at least according to Ken Palm's metrics going into this one, in a game with a total that I like. Listen, that last game, that was the highest total of the slate. Again, two teams that aren't necessarily going to just run up and down, but High Point and Purdue, that's the highest implied total on this entire slate. Montana and Wisconsin is not too far behind them at 152. And what are we trying to win tomorrow, Mike? We're trying to win that bread, and we're trying to win that money, as in Money Williams for Montana. You got to get some boom-bust potential in your lineups here, and Money Williams is just that. He comes off the bench playing 27 to 30 minutes. I like me some Vinnie Johnson microwave types, and that's exactly what he is. Would you have liked to get him for about 5,500, 5,400? Yeah, I kind of, he was the Houdini, if you will, to steal a term from my good friend Dua Lipa. Really didn't show up at all. Disappeared in the Big Sky championship game, but didn't get the haircut I wanted. Probably only attorney play, Mike, obviously. The another guy that's shot dependent, like Fletcher Lawyer. Minutes are volatile because he is coming off the bench here. But this is a guy. Would it be fitting to win 25K with a guy named Money Williams in your lineup? It could get you there. I'm not saying just go crazy on him, Mike, but throw him into a couple because if he goes off, man, that's a slate breaker right there. Is Money Williams?
Yeah, he's like one of those guys that could be a star overnight, right? He's a cool, not a cool story, but he's got like a story that people would want to follow. Lost both parents, obviously. Like last year, the community's rallied around him. Like he's definitely a guy that can go out and score 25 real life in this one. And people are sleeping on Montana a little bit here. I think they could actually keep it a little bit closer. I'm not saying they're going to win or anything like that, but I think they have a pretty solid team. They just don't have any size, man. I'm not interested really in anything else on the side except for, Joe Pridgeon. He's 5,900. Tajon Sawyer, Brandon Whitney, like they're all priced kind of correctly, and I don't know. It's just kind of yucky, right? Like you don't want to really get into this like 67 total with multiple guys here. But I think taking a shot at like a Money Williams, or if you're trying to be a little bit safer on this side, I don't know that we need to go here. Like Pridgeon can do a little bit of rebounding. But he's not really a big time like fantasy creator. Like he's just going to be out there on the floor a lot. So I don't love anything on this side. I think we absolutely are going to like some things over here on this 85 implied total for Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's a little bit of doubt in the chat. Maybe not doubt, but at least questioning if the Badgers are indeed in trouble. Sure, I can talk tonight. Darren, a little bit of concern about playing an elevation team in an elevation city there. That does affect you, right? There is something to be said about that. But I don't know, man. This implied total, all the metrics say this is going to be a good one for Wisconsin. Montana's a little bit of a smaller team for what it's worth, right? John Tonji he's probably going to play, 30, 32 minutes, 8,500 here, okay? If you think Montana's going to keep this close, like it sounds like Darren does, Peanut Butter Posse, our resident Kentucky fan, one of them anyway, it could be a concern, but this is just a team. Tanji, I don't know, man. He's put up some absolute crazy stat lines. Like,
yeah.
At 8,500, this isn't like a guy that you're going to spend 9,900 for and the ceiling is 45 or something like that, right? You're getting an 8,500. What do you think Tanji's ceiling is in this type of a game? Like, is it around there? Is it mid 40s?
Yeah, probably mid 40s in a close game. I mean, yeah, probably mid 40s.
Mid 40s, and at this price, that's the type of thing that I would like to see for sure. So again, we're going to need that close game to really justify playing him in tournaments. But if Cam says he's on Montana and the points. If that's how you're feeling, and if you feel like this is going to be a close one, he's going to get his shots up.
Yeah,
the real life points will be there for Tanji.
Yeah, I mean, if this is anywhere, within 10 with 8 minutes to go, we're going to see Tanji and Blackwell have a pretty good game. The problem is, right, is like they could absolutely blow these guys out. So that's the problem. The thing you like about Blackwell is you're saving $1,400 off Tanji, and you get the second stud on Wisconsin, right? It's probably these guys are going to go overlooked, right, because they're in the blowout. But 5x potential in a close one. I think if you're going to look into this game, I don't mind Tanji and Blackwell for the large field for 25K because they're not going to have any ownership. The guys that are going to have ownership because Montana's a smaller team are unfortunately these guys that are boom bust type forwards like Stephen Crawl, Nolan Winter. Crawl at 5,300. Like he projects, at 28 minutes, he's going to be over 4x. You just don't know sometimes if he's going to play 29, if he's going to play 22, if he'll play 19. 16, 16, 18 fantasy points in the last 3, but against Big Ten teams, right? Now you're getting a solid matchup that with not a lot of size. Nolan Winter at 4,800. I mean, these guys should be able to do some damage, and they're going to have an opportunity to rack up 7+ rebounds into this one. So if you're like hunting the 25K, you want to get into an 85 implied team total. Getting a Crawler or a Winter in your lineup is definitely the way to go. So, yeah, really just those two guys for me. I'm not playing any Max Klesmit. It's kind of cool to see him play bigger minutes, but that's pretty much it for me on this side here.
Good stuff there for sure. Mo Norman doesn't feel like the Badgers are in trouble. Doesn't think Montana's that great, but hey, I get it. I'm not saying that. This is a really good Wisconsin team. All right, this is. They're good. I don't know. I don't know if we're trying to peek around and dig for reasons that an upset's going to happen. Maybe we can.
I don't know when people come in and say like just because they got beat by 30 by every P5 doesn't mean that one game in March that these guys can't hang around for a little. Like we see it all the time. Yeah. So let's not act like that.
We will not act like that, but what we will do is hit those like and subscribe buttons. Let's get to 1,400 tonight or tomorrow or the next day or whenever you're watching with us. Push all those buttons. Show your broskies and basketball some love. We definitely appreciate it. Hop in the live chat. It's cooking right now. We love that too. We love the live chat. It's the liveliest live chat in all college basketball. And we'll see if they have anything to say about SIU, Edwardsville, and Houston because we don't have a lot to say, I don't think. 126 implied points here. 51 of those to SIUE. No, just no. Houston, let's move on. Not going to waste any time. Roberts going to be back, Mike?
Sounds like it.
So what do you think that does for the outlook here in this game and Houston in general? I mean, 75 implied points here at least, but it's just blowout written all over it.
Yeah, blowout written all over it. And we know Houston, they play a lot of their guys in blowouts. It's not like they're, some teams will play their guys to like the 3-minute mark before they pull them. I think we can see spread out minutes here, but they're all cheap, like for their price, for like what they can do in a 75 implied total, but it just won't be close, man. I think the only guy to really target here is going to be Uzan. Man, this is tough. It's tough to play these guys. Pryor, Sharp, Tugler, like if Roberts was out, I would have more interest because then you would have guys like Malik Wilson, Joe Tugler, the really cheap guys. I don't know that I'm playing anybody from Houston, even though we've been burned too many times in the non-con playing Houston guys.
Yeah,
so probably just off this game in general from a DFS perspective.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody for staying away from this one. So not much to say on that one. Houston, this should be a blowout. Like, yeah, I'm not in. Let's look at the next round when we're starting to talk about the Cougars here. If Gonzaga or Georgia in that one, that's going to be one that I'll be interested in. Probably not this one. All right, good stuff there. Moving on. Like and subscribe if you will. Push all the buttons. Got some shots fired in the live chat. I love it. Hey, don't catch me on a hike in the elevation. Break time city, I promise you. Break time. Another break time here. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. 150 implied points here. Auburn and Alabama State. I don't know. This is obviously Auburn is one of the favorites here. Congrats to Alabama State, by the way, on their buzzer beater. Shout out to you guys. One shining moment. It's going to be the first one in the dang thing, isn't it, Mike? It's going to be the first one. Let's start with Auburn here. 90 implied points. 9-0. Led by who else but Janai Broom at 10.5K. Mike, we got some studs and some matchups that are going to be in closer games. It's tough to click there. I don't know if they're going to push him. I don't know if they're going to really try to stretch him out and get the most out of him. So, I mean, this obviously just a tournament play, and it's one of those decisions on this slate where if you're paying 10.5 for Broom,
you better be rooting for the Alabama State.
Yeah, and you got to hope like they just have 70 at half and he has 40 of them, or whatever. Like otherwise, I don't know. It's a tough click.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough click, man. Could he put up 50 fantasy points in 25 minutes? Absolutely. We've seen him do that before. Tourney only, man. I kind of like the guards. Chad Baker-Mazara at 6K. Yeah, he's usually a guy that's at 7K. So this is kind of one of the cheapest price tags we've seen on him. But like all these guys, right, blowout risk. Has to be in your tourney player pool just because he does a lot, shoots threes, can rack up some steals, does some rebounding, can hand out some assists. Was Denver Jones price? Like really all these guys, man. Pettiford, Johnson, they're gonna play a ton of guys in this one. They're gonna beat the brakes off of these guys. Like there's nobody on Alabama State that's gonna be able to stop Janai Broom. So they're gonna eliminate these guys by halftime. But Denver Jones for tournaments at 4,300. He shoots threes, has a little bit of peripheral game to go with him. So it's okay. Like if he gets to 20 fantasy points, you feel pretty good about it. But just such risk with playing these guys in these type of. I mean, it's a 30-point spread on Ken Palm. Why are they going to push them when they're going to play? We were just talking about who Auburn was going to get in the
Louisville or Creighton.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so there's no reason to push these guys. Not Jay. I don't think you're probably not on anybody on the Alabama State side with an implied total of 60, are you?
How about no? Get me off of that. Anybody at all?
Not really, man. Like, I mean, Madlock and Hines are going to play 35 minutes, but geez, man. If you want to take a shot in a tournament, I guess. Like, I'm not going to say anybody's out of play, right? But no, yeah, Darren St. Broom might have 40 in the first half.
Yeah, that'll do it too. If he does, that would get me there, I feel like, because that also means there'll be some peripherals in there, and he might come out and play 3 minutes and put the ice on the knees, and that would get me to where I need him to be. It could happen, man.
Johnson and Cardwell garbage time, Pettiford garbage time. Yeah, you just don't know. man, tournament's only for all these guys.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff. Like and subscribe buttons as we keep it rolling here. McNeese State and Clemson, 136 implied points in this one. Now we're starting to get back down into those back below 140 again. McNeese, though, obviously a team with a lot of eyes on them, a lot of eyes on their coach. The not so subtle whispers of him looking for greener pastures, if you will, are right there. But this is a team that could definitely make a little bit of noise in this bracket. 65 implied points for McNeese here. The problem is again, like so many of these teams that we've talked about already, absolutely play a little bit of defense. 16th in the country are Clemson. So I don't know, man. Shoemate, 6,800. The pricing, I guess, is sort of like, it's another one of those games where the top players, the pricing's down on it, but you also know, like, okay, is the ceiling there, especially for some of these bigs like Shoemate, man? I don't know. It's not the bigs probably at all on this side, but anybody else on this McNeese side before we sort of try to hit the Clemson here? I don't know.
I mean, Shoemate and Charles, I'm not getting there, man. They don't project well against Locken and Shiflin. I'm interested in the guards, man. Javon Garcia sitting here at 5,700. He's been really good for these guys. I'd argue been their best players in terms of like consistency. Should get 30 to 34 minutes in this one, a 23% shot rate. Not big on the peripherals, which hurts kind of his floor, but he has a 5.5% combined stock rate. So a little bit of turning consideration. He's kind of a guy that could maybe be a household name if he's able to pull off the upset. He's probably going to be a reason why. If it's not him, it's probably Kadir Copeland. Oh man, that's a name that we haven't said in a very long time.
From the past.
Yeah, 5,600 down transfers here, and it was the former sixth man at Syracuse and would come in and just have like these monster fantasy efforts. Won some money on him, at a cheaper price tag and a worse role. Last year. Now he's up to nearly a 30% usage rate, nearly a 40% assist rate, still has that steal rate right around 3%. Definitely a boom bust play because I have a feeling he's going to play his third. Like, I don't know why Will Wade wouldn't play him 35 minutes in this spot. But we've seen, in conference, we've seen him 18, 22, 26, 32, 36. It's just.
What does he need to get to minute-wise for this to happen for you?
Yeah, I mean, if he gets at least 28, he's probably going to get there. So if he plays 30 plus, he's going to be – if you project him at 32, 33, 34 minutes, he's going to be one of the top 4 to 5 plays on the slate. I mean, he played Clemson last year with Syracuse, 17 points against them in the ACC tourney, and then also in another game he had 13 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, and 3 steals. So he's only 5,600, and now he's in a role where he's absolutely dominating the ball when he's playing. We just need the minutes. So he's an awesome tourney play. I'm going to have a ton of him. And old Brandon Murray sitting down here at 4K, former G-Town and Ole Miss product. He's boom bust, right? Scoring reliant. His minutes have been 20 to 27. So, Will Wade playing some guys because we talked about it all offseason. They got a bunch of dudes, right? Like they got some guys that they can play. So problem is he's super shot dependent at 4K. Like I'm just going to be taking shots on Copeland. Copeland's probably going to be plenty popular in tournaments, which means that Garcia is a very interesting contrarian pivot off of a chalkier Copeland here, man. But I just like the guards on the McNeese side, and then over on the Clemson side, man, like just such a short rotation on this side that we have to like them.
Yeah, the opposite of McNeese, right? 92nd in bench minutes. Clemson on the other side, only 7 guys really seeing any time, and the starters are getting big time minutes for sure. When you look at this, McNeese only gave up 72 to Alabama and 66 to Mississippi State. It's not the easiest matchup. I get it. Peanut Butter Posse saying Clemson's a machine, that Will Wade ain't sneaking up on Brad Brown. Well, Brad, listen. When the bracket came out, this was a popular one where I'm picking McNeese and High Point. We're going 12 and 13 on that side. And I'm not going to pick either, to be honest. I don't believe. But what I do like here is I like a little bit of Ian Shefflin. Okay, the focal point of this Clemson team, does it all on the court. 21% usage, 34% combined rebound rate, 15% assist rate, 4% combined stock rate. Dig that when you can do more than just trip over a steal every now and then. Love that out of Shefflin there and this price tag. Really good tourney play. I think we might see a spend down here in the front court for Clemson that some people might be a little bit more attracted to.
Yeah.
But I think Shefflin's still a really nice play, Mike.
Yeah. You have to look at all these Clemson guys. I know Cam's jumping in here saying that I love the Clemson big prices. You have to. I love Shiflin in tournaments. I love him in cash settings at 7,700. The guards, we'll talk about them first before we talk about a guy that's probably going to be massive chalk here. You got Jaden Zachary at 7,200. I don't play him. The rates are not great. He's had some really good games, though, where it's like, well, how did this happen? Kind of a pass for me outside of I don't even know if I want to get there in a cash setting in this total. Chase Hunter, though, is $300 cheaper. That's where you should go in most formats. He's got big-time pop. He was awesome in the tourney last year. Going to play max minutes, 24% shot rate, a 15% assist rate here. Large field only because he does have a lower floor. Sometimes he disappears, but I think the disappearance, we won't see that as much now that he's having, playing these huge minutes, right? And they just don't have much of a bench right now. But Victor Locken, man, going to be mega popular at 6,400. He's been one of those guys, Jay, where yeah, man, it's just too good to pass up. I don't know how they guard him. Outside of the SMU foul game, he's been 27 plus fantasy points in 6 of the last 7. He's an elite tournament play. The problem is that sometimes he'll play 20 minutes and then, most of the time he's in the mid to high 20s. And then every now and then you get the 32-minute lock-in game, which, then his price tag goes up to 7,500, 8K. So, like Cam's saying, I like these Clemson bigs. I'll be rotating exposure to these guys. They do have a value piece here with Wiggins. It's kind of a gross play. He just kind of stands in the corner, shoots threes. Now he's starting after the Dylan Hunter injury. He's got to make some threes, man. But he's hard to trust against this is a tough McNeese State defense, right? So just more of a secondary value play over here is Wiggins. But, yeah, you have to love Locken, Hunter, and Shefflin for sure.
Excellent stuff there, Mike. Let's make sure we keep the live chat rolling. Let's make sure we hit the like and subscribe buttons. And let's make sure we get to VCU and BYU for sure. One of the hottest teams in the country, Mike. I feel like BYU, we've talked about them recently. That's a team that's playing the right type of ball at the right time. And I really like them a lot. But, VCU, this is probably one of those matchups where you're like, I would like BYU a lot easier and maybe some other regions in this seed. At this seed, VCU is a pretty solid team. So, Sugar, man, Sugar, 8K flat. No need to worry. My accountant handles that. Is there a better cash play than Max Sugar, Mike?
It's going to be tough to find one.
Hasn't been under 23 fantasy points in his last 15. He's going to play 36 to 38 minutes. Solid rates across the board. Cash game for sure. Now, if the shot is on, if the burner is warming up a little bit, he's heating up and then hit a few shots there. It's 35 plus fantasy point upside on this one for sure. So I don't know, man. Who else on this VCU side? BYU, man, middle of the pack in Big 12 play over across the whole season, rated pretty well defensively, but sort of middle of the pack once the conference play rolled around. So how do you feel about Shulga and the rest of this VCU side?
Yeah, I mean, I love Shulga here. He's just a great play. Jack Clark at 7K. He's more of a glue guy. He had that ceiling performance against George Mason in the A-10 championship. He plays mid-30s minutes, has some stock upside, and I kind of like him for smaller tourneys in cash. I don't love his overall profile for the 25K tournament. He's not really a guy that's going to go out there and get and consistently get you 35 to 40 fantasy points. So I think Shulga's probably my favorite, with Clark being second. Bamasil, Jackson, Bangboye, Russell, they're all in the player pool. They're just kind of priced correctly. So there's not much to love outside of Clark and Shulga for me. I mean, Bangboye, you could maybe talk me into it, but he would have to play over his normal average minutes. So let's slide on over to this BYU side, Jay. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, Peanut Butter Posse thinks BYU is going to win, but we'll be rooting for VCU because of his unconditional love for his new coach and savior, Mark Pope. I get it. Okay, sure, man. Richie Saunders on this one, 6,900 on the BYU side. went bonkers on the stretch, right? Really the only guy that's going to be guaranteed close to 30 minutes too. Tough matchup, I think, for Saunders, but he's put up 35 or more fantasy points. Iowa State twice, Kansas, Arizona in the last 10 games, 35 plus fantasy points against those opponents. So Saunders is an interesting tournament play for sure. A few spend down options if we're looking, maybe a couple of mid and a couple in that lower tier. I mean, we got some secondary options in terms of value, Mike, overall so far on this slate. A couple more here for BYU. But how are you feeling about this side?
Yeah, I mean, Saunders is the best play on this side. I mean, Jaeger Dimon, if I knew he was going to get 28 to 30 minutes, I would it's a tough VCU matchup, man. Like 23rd in defensive efficiency, like their backcourt. We know, man, they're a tough defense. And, that's why a lot of people may be picking VCU here over BYU. Probably not on most of this game outside of Shulga and maybe some Clark here, maybe some Bang Boye on that VCU side. Trevor Nell and Moet Mag, I mean, can they get 20? Can they get over 20 minutes? Like, they're just more secondary value plays at 3,600 and 3,300 respectively. So if you want to sprinkle them in the large field and hope that one gets 24 minutes and has their A game, they can maybe get there for you. But I don't want to take up too much time because we got this game coming up here, Jay, that it's going to be a pretty sweet one for DFS purposes.
Yeah, it sure is. So make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons to show us some love as we get to this Georgia and Gonzaga game. Darren's right. Friend of the show, Mark Pope, indeed. And also shout out to other friend of the show, Coach DeVries, for getting that Indiana job today, man. Like, if you wanna get a big time blue blood job, let one and done interview you. Mark Pope, Kentucky, DeVries going to Indiana. Shout out, Coach. Congratulations. Very happy for you guys. All right, good stuff there. Georgia and Gonzaga, 150 implied points. Finally getting back up into the 150s on these implied totals. Georgia, 72 of that, coming up against a Zags team that is 29th in the country in defensive efficiency. But that's probably not going to stop me from playing some Bulldogs, Mike. Silas DeMary, 8,100 here. We've seen some guards have success against the Zags. Feels sort of like a safe-ish play. This is max price DeMary, though. So I don't know if we want to necessarily be super just all in on it. It is a good game environment, like I was hinting at earlier. Can't ignore this game. Like, we're going to have to play some guys in this one. I mean, just a solid, just a safe play at 8,100.
Yeah, if it's 72, right, 75, and maybe some more tournament upside there for you. Newell at 8K, awesome freshman year, right? Gonzaga has some tough bigs, but this is a pace-up, man. Gonzaga top 50 in tempo, so we like that for the Georgia side, man. They need him on the floor for 34 minutes here to have a chance, and he definitely has 40-plus fantasy upside. So I'll sprinkle in some Newell, here and there in some of my lineups. And you got the two cheapies that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, Tyron Lawrence, Dakota LaFew. Lawrence at 4,600, like, you kind of know what you're going to get. 25 to 28 minutes, decent shot rate, solid assist rate. A good value play when you consider the pace-up nature of how fast Gonzaga wants to play and extra possessions here for Georgia. Dakota LaFew at 3,900. I think he's kind of sneaky, more of a secondary value play, but he's popped off for 20 to 25 fantasy points in some of these pace-up environments. He had 26 fantasy points against Vandy. More shot-dependent than Lawrence, Jay, so I could see playing a Newell with one of these guys and then running it back on this Gonzaga side with one of the chalkiest plays on the slate and, some guys that obviously going to put up some big numbers at a nearly 80 implied total.
Zags on the other side here, 26th in defensive efficiency is their opponent in Georgia. Obviously, these are a couple of teams that will play a little bit of defense, but there's just so much talent on this. There's going to be some buckets in this game for sure. Ike on the Gonzaga side, 8,700 here. He's the guy that you want to just I want to just grab Ike and I want to always have him on my team and I want just to keep him right here because the upside, man, it's just I want to be on board when we see the Ike slate breaking game.
Yep.
But the problem is now he's trying to have to cook that up in about 24 to 28 minutes. But he can do it. Like, he can get there for us at this one, but I don't know, dude. He's probably not going to be super popular, which might be good for tournaments, right? If he's not super popular, it might be a good play to make here. But there's another forward on this team with some big projections that if he starts, man, I know you're going to get to Huff in a minute. But
Yeah.
any other options before that 4,900 Braden
Yeah.
Huff? That obviously some talented guards on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I Nemhard at 8,200. When he gets the tournament season, he's going to play all, 40 minutes. He's going to play 38 plus. Awesome cash play. He's got tournament upside, a 40 plus, fantasy point upside when it's tight games. He usually goes overlooked, so that's why I definitely like him if you're playing the large field. People want to get to EK. People are going to play the obviously Huff down here at the bottom. Battle at 6,600. Like, he's playing really good ball right now. He's kind of the definition of a streaky scorer. 30 plus fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games. If he gets 30 minutes, like, he's going to be a solid play, but we know there's rug pull, and I think we have Michael in the chat talking about, Jai and Greg. Well, the minutes have kind of disappeared, and Greg's no longer starting, at least as the last game. Now, if Greg could start next game, maybe that changes some things, but that's because Braden Huff is 4,900. And Gonzaga lost to St. Mary's twice in the regular season. They ended up starting Braden Huff to go along with EK. Obviously, it could have just been because of the matchup with St. Mary's. But if Braden Huff, and I'm so glad this game is in the middle of the slate, so that way we have pivot options off him. Even if he doesn't start, I think he's a solid play. But he's not going to be this like massive, like, if you project this guy at 22 minutes, he's going to be a really good play. If you project him at 30 to 32 minutes, like he played against St. Mary's, he's going to destroy the slate. He had 32.5 fantasy points against one of the best defenses, especially with the bigs that, Saxon and Wessels at St. Mary's, right? Those are 2 of the toughest bigs in the country. So I'm having a hard time not being 100% on him, which is absolutely scary. He has to start for me to stay close to like an 80 to 90% on him. But we'll have to check that out. That's going to be a huge spot. And he's going to be mega chalk. He'll be the popular value play of the night.
It's going to be hard to get away from him for sure. Is it going to be easy to trust the Zags, like Darren's asking? I don't know.
No.
It's never easy to trust them, even though Neymar does get the cover boy boost. But yeah, it might be tough here. Yeah, Zags -6 in a lot of books. What do we have? Yeah, that's right there on ours. Yeah, Zags -6 on these projections, 2.5 maybe. Okay, all right. Let us know how your tickets look. We appreciate it. Good stuff, Peanut Butter Posse. And good stuff to everybody for hopping in the live chat and who's hit those buttons tonight. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Moving on up. Actually, moving on down to Wofford in Tennessee. Yuck. 135 implied points in this one. Just put it in a bag and throw it out your window. 59 implied points for Wofford. Oh, my God. Neither of these teams. Wofford 333rd in tempo. Tennessee 346th.
Yeah.
What do you want here? We're not touching anybody on that side. I'm not anyway. Any before we move on to Tennessee, anybody on the Wofford side at all?
No, I feel like he's a good player. He's going to project decently at 30 to 2 minutes, but I can't, man. I'm more on the Tennessee side, obviously. They've got some guys that played in these totals that have gotten there.
Yeah. Wofford gave up 86 to Duke in the non-conference schedule. They're not very big, and they're not going to turn you over. So, yeah, I mean, could this get out of hand? Is this one of those, this is 17 points, and then before we look up, it's 82 to 49? Like, I'm not going to say that I'd be shocked here, and I wouldn't be shocked if Zakai Ziegler had himself quite a dandy if it's close, because I am worried about that blowout. He's coming off that Big Ten performance against Florida. I guess I will tinker around with the cash games, probably more of a cash target as Ziegler, I guess. But if somehow this game was close, Ziegler's a guy at this price tag where if he's playing max minutes and then he's got to be, I don't know. Tennessee will just get in the muck against anybody just to do it. Is it possible that this game stays close? Yeah, but I don't know if I'm betting on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a hard time playing any of these guys. Like,
okay,
probably not playing Gainey. The forwards are interesting because they're so cheap. Okpar is 5,200. It's the same spot with him and Milicic as the SEC championship game. He's requires $100 more and he has a better matchup. He's live to block a bunch of shots here, get a cheap double-double, has 25 fantasy point upside in his bag here. The problem is he's got kind of an uglier floor, and Milicic is $200 cheaper and does a lot more on the floor offensively. So Okpara, you have to consider him, right? Like he's just too cheap for this matchup. Milicic, he's been dreadful the last 2 games after smashing Texas for 31 fantasy points, and he's definitely got 30 plus. I mean, he can get to 40. So very much a very boom bust tourney option. We have to consider the blowout here with these guys too.
Yeah.
Okay, Phillips can get some run here, Dubar, but yeah, considering how many guys we got on the slate, man, like how many guys at 5K can go for 30, 35. So Milicic,
right.
Unfortunately, it'd be like a super popular, and I wouldn't be surprised if he bombs, but that's why he's a tournament play here. So yeah, I'm most in love with the forwards here just because of their price tags. They can smash in 25 minutes.
Milicic will be super popular probably. And you know what else is super
mega
popular?
yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, I think he's going to be really popular.
Yeah, I think he'll be super popular. You know who else will be super popular? All the people that hit the subscribe button right here on One and Done on YouTube, One and Done College Basketball. Hit all those buttons. We know a lot of you take us in, or that's not how I wanted to say that. A lot of you watch us over on X. We appreciate that for sure anyway that you view us on your devices. But get over to YouTube and hit all those buttons. And that includes the notification bells. We got all these. We're going to have more DFS shows. We're going to have more what's the word we've been calling
transfer
it?
portal.
We're going to have transfer portal stuff coming up. But what the Thursday recap
shows.
stuff, yeah, we're coming live. So make sure you push all those buttons. We'd love to see you in the live chat with Darren and Peanut Butter Posse and all the rest of the Braidheads, Cam, Michael. Who else is in there tonight? All of the 40 characters that like to show up in here, including NASCAR legend Dick Trickle somehow in the chat tonight. That's super. Good to see old Dickie in the chat. Push all those buttons. Let's move on to Arkansas and Kansas. 142 implied points here. Arkansas, 69 implied, according to Ken Palmer's metrics. Very nice. Tiero playing, Mike? Probably not. Like leaning doubtful, right?
Yep, probably not going to play.
Not planning on him being around. But somebody that is going to play, likely going to play, is Boogie Fland. So I'll let you hit on him in a minute. I'm going to hit on Brazil here at 7,300 on the Arkansas side. This is a tough Kansas defense, right? Like this is why that there's still somebody that we have to take seriously. I know it hasn't been the best year by Kansas standards, but this is a really good defense as well that Arkansas is going up against. And a big reason why Arkansas is in the tournament is Trayvon Brazil for sure. He can put up fantasy points with the best of them, but the problem is he's also super volatile. The foul trouble stuff is there. Like max price Brazil, I don't know, man. It might make it a little bit tougher to roster him here. But again, somebody that can go toe-to-toe, minute for minute, fantasy point for fantasy point, especially per dollar with the best of them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He could smash or he could completely bomb your lineup here. So I'll have some Brazil in tournaments. John L. Davis, these guys, DJ Wagner, with Boogie Fland returning, like they're going to take a little bit of a hit. And Calipari said that, even if Fland plays 10 to 16 minutes, right? I mean, that's still going to hurt Davis and Wagner's minute ceiling. So I think Davis and Wagner will take a hit there. I think the guy that I'm most interested in outside of Brazil is Jonas Adu, who's been incredible, capable of absolutely destroying the slate, but also capable of busting big time. We've seen that, right? I mean, he's pushed Zvonimir Ivicic to, a very, very small role right now.
Minimal.
He's down to 5,400. So he's kind of interesting for the 25K. But the last 3 for AD, why would we see Zvonimir for more than 10 to 12 minutes when this guy's putting up 33, 32, and 47 fantasy points? And his price hasn't really fully adjusted yet at 6,200. So definitely someone I'll be targeting. Both of these forwards in Brazil and AD definitely boom bust opportunities for tournaments to win 25K.
Kansas aside 73 points on this one. Hunter Dickinson, 10K flat. When you talk about ceilings, when you talk about guys that can just go out there and score 65 fantasy points, there's a very small group of gentlemen that you can put into that category. Hunter Dickinson is one of them. The last 3 games, we've seen 45, 50, and 50. I can deal with that. Let's see if we can keep that going for sure. Dickinson is just, everything's going through him. Usage through the roof. He's going to get a bunch of boards here. Double-double bonus, like our guy Darren likes to say, definitely on the table here. I love Dickinson in this spot. I don't care how good Arkansas defense has been. This is Hunter Dickinson we're talking about here.
Yeah, great play. Awesome tournament play. Cam's jumping in there saying that bigs against Arkansas, that definitely has been a thing. So you can target that. He's going to be an awesome play, really in any format. Cam, I'm not really in on KJ Adams. It's just not for me. Him and DeJuan Harris, like, I don't play these guys, man. Like, if you want to play them in cash, okay. It's Dickinson for me, Zeke Mayo at 7K. He's been on a heater lately, 34, 36 and a half, 38 and a half in the last 3. He's playing 35 minutes or so. They need his offensive creativity because Harris and Adams struggle to create offense. So I wish it was sub K, 7K on this slate. I was hoping we get him for 68, somewhere around there. But definitely a good tournament option for sure is Mayo. And then Rylan Griffin, very volatile. Tournament flyer because he can hit 2 or 3 threes. And at 3,600, that's 2 to 3x already. And he could also play 30 minutes. I don't.
He could also play 18.
Yeah, man. So that's the thing. He was on one of my best lineups a few weeks ago, and I think he had a 4 or something. So that's just what you get, man. With this, it's a good game environment though. As far as when we say environment, right? It's like these guys, this Kansas side, they're not playing more than 5 guys really. And on Arkansas side, it's the bigs that are still not to their max prices. Brazil's getting there. I think you could see him maybe at 75, 8K. But 80 could be a 75, 8K player too. So, yeah, definitely interest on both sides.
I'd rather not see Brazil at 8K if we're being quite honest. But, we might if they can make it through Kansas. Man, Dickinson's a great play. Ooh. Like, you look at Dickinson at 10K, and then you just go right up to who was 10.5 earlier? I already forgot.
Yeah, Broom.
Oh, yeah, of course, Broom. So 10.5 for Broom in a game that could probably get out of hand pretty quickly. Or you look at a game like this for Hunter Dickinson and it just feels like 55 is just right there sitting for him to take it. So good stuff there. All right. Push those like and subscribe buttons. For sure. Who's going to be the chalk on Kansas Rock Chalk? I don't know, man. This is just Kansas is Kansas, man. And Dickinson's a great player. We'll see how it goes. Yale and A&M, a team in Yale, Mike, that we saw immediately be one of those teams that people are like, I don't know. Yale could beat A&M. We might. Well, I don't know, dude. Again, I'm not as much on that one in this matchup from a bracket perspective. And with a 132-point implied total, it might be difficult to get into this game as well. Mike, talk me into some of these Yale players here against this really, really tough Aggie defense.
Yeah, I'm shocked at some of the projections we're getting. And I think it has a lot to do with just the amount of minutes these guys play. Bez Mbing, he's going to play 38 to 40 minutes. He projects really well because he does everything. So he doesn't need to score the basketball to put up big fantasy points. Now, he'll take double-digit shots, which you absolutely love. I do worry in tournaments about playing Texas A&M's defense, but I think he's a cash lock at 40 minutes, right? And just his rates across the board are really, really good. So Bez Mbing, he's going to project as one of the best plays on the slate. Nick Townsend at 7,100. He's really turned it off lately, 27 to 36 fantasy points in the last 4, playing mid-30s minutes. He's a fantasy point per minute guy. But then, again, this is a tough front court matchup, especially. Number 1 offensive rebounding team, right? One of the toughest, front courts that you're going to find in the country. So I think Townsend's more of a tournament play. I think Mbingi playing cash as well as has a little bit of tourney upside. Poulikitis, I'm not on him. He's just too shot dependent at 7K against a tough defense. He's going to have to score 30 real life, and I don't think that's happening in this spot. And then you can look at Casey Simmons, 4,700. He's playing nice minutes. He's live to play 30-plus minutes again in this spot. Again, this is a tough matchup for the forwards. I don't mind Simmons' value in Allerton as like a large field contrarian target. He's not been playing more than 20 minutes. So his minutes are really volatile. But I think Bez and Bing like just a great play here. And I don't love a lot because obviously we're staring at 132 implied total, but you love the minutes on the Yale side.
Yeah, if the rotation's tight, it's worth a look for sure. Speaking of things that are tight, we're not going to spend too much time talking about the A&M side. We're going to keep this tight. It's Wade Taylor and maybe Phelps. Yale's defense has been Jekyll and Hyde at times against tougher competition. Wade Taylor, like, play him 40. I don't care. Yeah, play him 40. Play him 38 minutes. Whatever it is that you can do. Whatever your max minutes are, Wade Taylor, I need to see him. If we do, he's going to drop 40 fantasy points. If we don't, he might still get there. He hadn't really shot it well in SEC play, and only 35% from the field during the year. That's been one of the things off there for sure. But this is a player that talented, makes a few shots here and gets it cooking, dude. Like, large field tourney, slot him in 1 or 2 times for Wade Taylor, man. Like, it's worth a shot at 7,800.
Yeah, I don't mind that, man. And then Phelps, like, 6,600 minutes volatility. Going to project well based on kind of what he's done this year. And if you put him at 28, it'll be okay. I just probably not for me, man. And I'll touch the front court of I know Henry Coleman's playing a lot of minutes. I just don't love it. I think this could be a grind out type game where Wade Taylor and Bez Imbing, I think, are probably the best plays on the slate. So yeah, he probably does it for this game.
Yale versus the Yale leaders, as Darren so eloquently put it in the chat. Shout out to Darren, always coming up with the witty comments. Good stuff there. Like and subscribe if you haven't hit it already. Let's boost those numbers up. Let's not have those rookie numbers. Let's boost them. Let's boost them up. Okay? Let's get to 1,400. Do it. Push all those buttons. Drizzy Drake and Mizzou here. 136 implied points. Only 65 of those to the Drake side, who is slower than Christmas, 364th in tempo. Not great. You know why it's not great? Dead ass last. Okay. Not good, Mike. Only 65 implied points here. Missouri plays a little bit of defense, although I guess an SEC play with the sort of middle of the pack. But top 75 defense overall in the country. What we like is Drake playing their guys max minutes here. 318th in bench minutes used. We haven't seen a lot of that on this slate. We've seen a lot of teams that are playing 10 guys, 11 guys checking in to the table. Drake's not that at all. Bennett Sturts at 9,300 here. He's a stud. He plays all 40 minutes. And this isn't just your like all cardio. Oh, he's on the floor for 40. No. In the pace up right here, Missouri 121st in tempo here. I mean, anybody's a pace up. Obviously, they're last. But Missouri's going to get them up and down a little bit and try to dictate that. And that puts Sturts firmly into position. 40 fantasy point upside, 45. Is 50 around the corner? It could be in this matchup for sure. The peripheral upside as well. Combined rebound rate's good. Assist rate is fantastic. 3.5% steal rate as well. And this isn't a guy that's going to foul out and put you into trouble, like, at all. 1.5 fouls per 40 minutes. A great play in all formats. It starts.
Yeah, man, the Drake side is kind of weird, right? Like, he does so much for their team. It doesn't leave a lot for everybody else. But Tavian Banks is definitely a large field play here. Super volatile minutes-wise. They got to play this guy 30 to 32 at least, man. I'm going to project him for like 25, 26, which makes him an okay play. But he can go for 30-plus fantasy points if he gets the minutes. So definitely a boom-bust large field option. And Cam Minyawu here at 5,100. He's another guy. Minutes are volatile. Now, the last 3 games, he's played 26 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get this risky. He's going to project well, right, in a pace-up if he plays 26 minutes. So if you want to take a shot in the large field on both of these guys, I definitely don't mind it. Brayu and some of these other guys, I just don't do enough because Sturts just does so much, and Banks is kind of that second guy that can produce all across the board. We just don't know if he's going to get the minutes.
The Missouri side here, Mike, I'm not really interested in much at all. I can't really – I don't know if I could get there. 71 implied points here. Drake plays good defense. It's just – this is the opposite. It's a big rotation against the slowest team in the country. That's disaster, man. Anybody at all on this side?
I mean, Caleb Grill, like 60, coming down in price, but I
We've
don't
played Grill
love it
before.
either. Yeah, I don't love it at 6,200. We're playing him at 75, 8K. Robinson at 4,900. It's okay, I guess. Like I'm just not that interested in getting into this wide rotation, barely a 70 implied total against a great defense. I think he says the number one scoring defense in the country. So yeah, there's not a lot of possessions in this game, so don't love it.
Yeah, not at all. Good stuff there. Live chat is still rolling and 70 minutes deep into this show. We definitely appreciate that. Michael Peterson hopping back in, sticking around. Michael was the first commenter, and he's still commenting 70 minutes, and we appreciate you, my guy. Saying the Aggies will shoot a bad shot because they know they can get the board. Hey, again, like, it doesn't matter how you win these games, right? Just figure it out in advance.
Nobody remembers the first and second round.
The Aggies might put up a banner for some first round win or something. That is an Aggie thing to do. But no, really though, like, again, just win, right? Just win. Darren's not interested in Mizzou. I can't say that I am either on that one. Good stuff, Drake. That's a good Missouri team. Ken Palm loves Missouri. Loves Missouri. Like, the metrics are there. We shall see. They don't play it with metrics. They put the ball on the floor, Mike, right? Good stuff. Utah State and UCLA here, 148 implied points, ticking up a little bit. That's nice. At least getting a little bit closer to 150 there. Utah State, 72 implied points here. Falslev at 8,800 for them. I think him and Ian Martinez are basically the guys that carry the load for them offensively. So those are the ones that we're going to be interested in, at least worth discussing right here, because they're really the only two that play the big minutes on this Utah State side. Falslev, 25% shot, 24% rebound, 21% assist, 4% steal rate. Is the ceiling, like, just make you want to go to the mountaintops and scream? I don't know. UCLA, this is a rugged defense, some good on-ball defenders. This is just it's Falslev and Martinez and not a lot else. So it's almost just like, is it matchup proof? This is going to be a close game, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Martinez, you look at him and he's kind of in the same spot as Falslev. Like, he has a slightly worse shot rate, but a higher assist rate. He's $1,200 cheaper. So I think if I were to play one of these two guys, it'd probably be Martinez. I don't know that I want to mess with this. Mick Cronin preaches defense. I was kind of surprised to see the Ken Palm total at 148. UCLA really good defensively, and they're slow. So I don't love a lot in this game, man. This UCLA side, like, they're kind of interesting for tournaments, but it's been like that all year with these guys.
Yeah, Kobe Johnson, a pretty good cash play on that side. Good two-way player for them. But the problem is he has to do everything else to get there, because he's not going to shoot the ball more than 6 or 8 times. So
shoot the ball.
Yeah, just get some shots up, Kobe. Literally, your name is Kobe. Shoot the ball. Okay, my guy? Get some shots up here. Good. I mean, solid mid-range play is Kobe Johnson on that side. Anybody else for UCLA? Utah State, man. I mean, this doesn't really scare me. UCLA should be able to get some fantasy points here.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe Johnson for cash, right? I don't know that he has the ceiling, right? So I'm with you on that. And then you have all these tournament guys: Sky Clark, Eric Daly, Sebastian Mack. Are they going to play 22 minutes? Are they going to play 28 minutes? Are they going to play 31? Are they going to play 18? Are they going to come off the bench? Who knows, man? Mick Cronin, it's just all over the place with him. So volatility with these guys. I think Daly, if he gets minutes in the spot, he's going to be pretty awesome for like a large field. I'll be throwing him into that 25K to first. He's definitely a guy that can get it done. We've seen it before, but the minutes volatility is crazy on this spot, man. So Kobe for cash, Daly for tournaments, man. I think that's where I'm at on this spot. Got you on mute, Jake.
Thanks, Mike. Excellent stuff there. Again, like on this total, you were saying how maybe 148 feels heavy, and if that's the way you feel, then it makes it even tougher to get to Falslev and Martinez and even some of these UCLA guys. But again, the volatility's there. You gotta, scared money don't make money. Okay, one of these guys could go off. Remember? Oh man, I got some good Sky Clark memories. Got some good Sky Clark memories, and it wasn't at 58K. I mean 5.8K either. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. All right, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Another game here, at least on one side, where we're not going to talk a ton about is Omaha and St. John's. Hope Johnny K. Don't know if Johnny K is hanging around late night, one and done after dark here as we talk about St. John's, but we might as well just skip over to them because we're not really going to really. I mean,
yeah,
Omaha
defense.
No, let's just blow through that one. St. John's 82 implied points here is what we're interested in.
Yeah,
Kadari Richmond, the heart and soul of this team, makes players around him better. That's what his coach tells. Richmond doesn't have to have his best game for this team to win. He just makes everybody better. But he is capable of obviously going off. What I don't like is the blowout potential here. At 9,500, again, I don't need a guy that's only going to play 22 minutes. I don't need a guy that I need a guy that's going to be out there. And obviously, Omaha really, this is not going to be close. Okay. This is not going to be close. All these studs who are max price, man, like Lewis, Ejiofor, the blowout potential here just ruins it for all of them. But again, with any sort of resistance from Omaha, even the slightest bit of resistance from Omaha, any of them can go for 40 plus, man. So I think you got to consider the large field play, or consider all of them, I should say, as a large field play. But I think I like Richmond the most because of the stock upside. And again, this isn't just like double type stuff. This is like triple-double type ceiling for Richmond. So of the big stars on St. John's, I like Richmond the best. Break down RJ Lewis, obviously coming off a great Big East tournament. Zuby Ejiofor, some of these other guys for the Johnnies.
Yeah, man. I think I'm with you with the big three for those guys and really a big four because you got Davon Smith there. But I don't know that I'm interested, man. I think we have Darren saying that Johnny's stacking. Yes, please. I'm not playing two of the studs together. Like, if you want to pick one and one of them goes off, yeah, I'm okay with it. I honestly think the best play on the St. John side is Aaron Scott. His price is way down. And if he's going to play 32, 34 minutes, if he's going to project awesome here, I'm going to have him closer to like 4.5x here. He can do it all. Doesn't really get the credit he deserves, but he's been a huge part of this success of this team. 3-and-D. The other guys get all the headlines. 25, fantasy point upside at 5,100, 5x. Like, I like him in tournaments, man. I think he's interesting. But that's it, man. Pick your stud, maybe. If you want to pair one with him in the 25K to first, maybe. It's just this is probably going to get ugly pretty quickly.
Could you take like a Richmond and a Smith? Does that interest you at all?
It's just tough because those two guys
Ejiofor and a Smith.
Yeah, those kind of correlate a little bit better. I don't never play Smith with Richmond just because they one of they eat at each other's production.
I guess one of these spend up options in Smith, because I agree. I don't think you can get two of these higher price guys in on this side, but it just the Smith at all.
Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. His role's weird right now. 20 minutes, I don't think they're gonna run. They're not gonna run these guys. They gotta think about the next game.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff. All right, 2 more games. We've been blowing through them, and we appreciate all of you for hanging out with us for the long haul here. We definitely do. So if you've done it, we hope you've hit that subscribe button to show your broskies in basketball some love. Next goal is 1,400 subscribers, on our way to 11 gazillion fulfillion and 1. We're on our way there. Be a part of it at the beginning. You could say you were there from the jump, like some of our OGs in the chat right now. UC San Diego versus Michigan, 141 implied points here. It's nice to look at this from the perspective of just this is one of the tightest rotations in the country for UC San Diego. 335th in bench minutes used, as a matter of fact. Okay. So who's going to be on the floor. And even though Michigan obviously plays some pretty tough defense, listen, this is a side, even at this total, a lot of names we've got to at least take a look at and consider here. And some of these prices look better than others. But what do you think about this UC San Diego side, Mike?
Yeah, you love the pace up. Michigan 65th in tempo, so they're getting up and down. You're going to get these extra possessions. The problem is the UC San Diego guys are priced up, unfortunately, due to the being so good in conference playing during the conference tournament. Tate Jones, though, at 9K, he's just a stud, can produce across the board. One of the toughest covers in the league. I think he's he's going to cause problems with the double bigs on the other side on the offensive end. I think he's going to have to, especially since Danny Wolf, joked around saying he can be a cone at times. I do worry about Tate Jones defensively against the double bigs. I still think he's an awesome turning play because I think they're live to win this one, and this is a pace-up spot, and he's a really good player that can produce across the board. And you have the other 5 guys that start, man. Hayden Gray, Tyler McGee, Norton Capich, and then Chris Howell. McGee's got the shot rate 30%, but that's really all he does. Gray's the floor general, number 1 steal rate in the country, which Michigan turns the ball over a ton. He's also got a 19% assist rate. But man, 7,700, that's a tough price to spend when Tate Jones and McGee just do so much offensively, right, as far as shooting the ball. So I don't know that I can get to these other guys. K-Pitch, he's going to be that big that's going to be busy with the 2 bigs who get in foul trouble. And then Howell's more of a versatile wing defender. Like, it's tough to get to these guys, Jay. I think Tate Jones and Marchfield. I don't know that I want to get to too much else, man. It seems a little scary here on this side. They all kind of do a certain role on their team. And so, Tate Jones is the guy that does it across the board with everything. So,
speaking of scary, I got to talk about Danny Wolf here. And Darren knows that I have probably maybe once in my life gotten Danny Wolf right. But I think he's in a prime spot here, man. Either Wolf or Golden is going to go off in this one. There's not a lot of size. God, why am I going to talk myself into Danny Wolf?
It is, dude. This is your moment. Your one shining moment.
One shining moment. Guys, we know he can disappear. We know, like Mike, you said, he could be a cone at times, and that's on both ends of the floor. It's just, but man, this is such a great tournament play. The upside is so good for Wolf in this one. I don't know, man. Can you talk me into Golden here? Can you talk me into, it's obviously a cheaper price tag for Golden. I don't know, man. What do you think?
One of these guys going
One of them, right? One of them.
Yeah. And Wolf is the guy that does it all, right? Like across the board. Like Golden's typically the guy that gets the points, rebounds, right? Double, some shot blocking upside. But Wolf can get you 5 or 6 assists, can produce stocks, can shoot threes. Golden's been shooting the group 3 a little bit this year too. So, obviously Golden's going to be more popular at 7,800, which makes Wolf a great 25K to first tournament play. I think a lot of people are going to find their ways to Golden. I absolutely get it. So, just one of those things here, man. Trey Donaldson, 6,600. Max price again, 30 pieces and 3 straight, but now he's 6,600 again. So I find him interesting as a stacking partner with maybe a Wolf, or a Golden. But yeah, man, I think of all these guys, I'm most interested in the 2 bigs. I'm probably going to have a lot of exposure to both of these guys. Don't really play them together, but I'll have one or the other on 60% of my tournament, 75% of my tournament lineups.
Okay. So yeah. Darren asked in the chat about the Twin Tower stack. So that's not really off on your radar.
No, but it's viable.
Okay. 16.3K to roster both of them. Can you find enough value on this one to get there?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go, Darren. If you want to stack them up, I can't get one of them right, much less both of them. How did I get Wolf right once? I threw a dart at a wall with my eyes closed. That's how I did it, Michael. I mean, literally like this. And it landed on Danny Wolf, and that's the one game that I got right. I don't care if the cool kids are playing Wolf, Darren. I don't. You're not going to peer pressure me into this. You might peer pressure me into this, okay? Great spot for those bigs for Michigan. Hey, man, excellent work. We're going to get this in under an hour and a half because we got UNC. Well, I say that now. We still got a core 4 after this UNC Wilmington and Texas Tech game. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking it out with your broskies here on One and Done. This is big time stuff. We got a 25K to first here on a Thursday. And there's not a better place to break it down than right here on One and Done with my guy, Mike. Nobody does it like we do. Nobody's bringing the heat. Nobody's got the liveliest live chat in all of college basketball like we do. So we appreciate everybody that hangs out with us, that watches us however you watch us, whether it be X or YouTube or via potato phone or whatever it is that you do. We appreciate you so much. Last game on this one, UNC Wilmington and Texas Tech. Texas Tech, and this is a team, again, like earlier in the season, I thought it was a team that could maybe make a deep run. And I mean like a deep – I'm not as sold at this point of the year as much as I was at least on this Texas Tech Red Raider team. Their opponent here, UNC Wilmington, 47th in bench minutes used. Yuck. Like, I mean, there's a few guys on here that we can talk about, Mike, but not a lot of possessions in this game. Even, 147 points. These teams do the most with the ball when they have it, though. 66 points on UNC Wilmington, going to be tough. Anybody on this side appealing to you?
Yeah, I mean, Donovan Newby has like a cash type play. He's 6K. He's like the one guy that actually plays 32 to 33 minutes, right? So everybody else, it's like, I don't know what they're going to play. He's going to project well, right, in the spot at 6,000. He's kind of the straw that stirs the drink for them. So I don't mind going to him in like cash type. Feels like he's live for 20 fantasy points, right? 20 to 24, which is great for cash. I don't know that he really has much of a tournament ceiling. The rest of these guys, Bo Montgomery, Sean Moore, Hodge, the two bigs, McGriff, I don't know what the hell to do with those guys. I'm probably just crossing them off and moving on, man. It's just you're throwing darts in the 25K for these guys, and you just don't know because of the bench minutes,
Yeah, speaking of darts, for sure, yeah. It's tough to commit to it. Texas Tech, though, 88 implied points in this one. That's why we like this side a little bit. Maybe we do have the blowout worry there. 15 point. If they can just keep it a little bit close here. Like, it's not like UNC Wilmington is a total pushover in terms of defensive efficiency, sort of middle of the pack in the country. Obviously not against the same opponents as Texas Tech, but, it is what it is. JT Toppin, tortilla tossing Toppin, according to Darren, is going 5X. And, yeah, I could see that happening. A great tournament play here. Was, like, physically sick in the Big 12 tournament. So, I guess thank you for the price decrease. I'm not sure if that, sort of got worked in there, but glad he's feeling better, and I'm glad to see him under 10K for sure. Not exactly the most perfect matchup, I guess. This UNCW does block a few shots. They got a couple of bigs with the 7% shot block rate. So it's not just like ideal, but Toppin's a great play always. Anytime he steps on the floor, no matter what. How about some of these other guys? Elijah Hawkins at 7,300. I mean,
my favorite play is Toppin for tournaments, man. Like, we know he has massive ceiling. If UNC Wilmington can somehow stay close, Hawkins, I think, is a cool cash play at 7,300. Like, you kind of lose a lot of his ceiling, but this is a big team total, and he's one of the top assist guys in the country. So, if you're gonna play some Elijah Hawkins in like your smaller fields or like your double ups or cash, like, I'm with it on that. All these other guys, man, with Dan Williams, it's been announced that he's coming back. It looks like they're going to be fully healthy. So that kind of takes me – it's typically been like I'm off on all of Texas Tech unless it's JT Toppin when everyone's healthy. It's just Hawkins is interesting for cash, man.
All right, good stuff there. Man, we made it through 16 games. Is that right? Good stuff.
Look at that.
Made it all the way through, and some of the guys in the live chat did as well. Thanks for hanging out with us for sure. All the way through here on One and Done. And even if you just popped in for a little bit, we still appreciate you no matter what. Push those like and subscribe buttons. Everybody's favorite part of the show is next. It's the Core 4 and more. And this is way more than a Core 4. This is a 16-game slate. So we're really going to dive a little bit deeper here and give you more than a handful of plays here, depending on your approach, depending on the type of game you're playing, cash or big time tournament. We're going to give you some floor plays. We're going to give you some ceiling plays as we like to do. I'll start with the cash game / that higher floor core. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys here. A lot of guards, a lot of people in the backcourt here on my side for sure. Braden Smith, great floor, 9,900 there. Great matchup against High Point. Max Shulga for VCU, good matchup, consistent. You know what you're going to get out of Shulga. Mbang for Yale plays all 40 minutes at 7,500. Like that for him there against the Aggies. Fletcher Lawyer, oh my God, just too cheap in that spot, right? 5,000, 5K flat for Fletcher Lawyer. Cash game at least. I don't know if I can get to him in the tournament. He might make me pull what little hair left I have out. Ryan Nemhard, great floor. Another great floor. Golden from Michigan, 7,800. too cheap there for Golden. Nemhard's 8,200 as well. Kobe Johnson, 6,000. Good game environment for him. Donovan Newby, 6,000 as well, 6K flat. Does everything for UNCW. So, all right, here we go. Going to run down really quickly our cash, like the high floor sort of cash game plays. Braden Smith, Max Shulga, Bezmbang, Fletcher Lawyer, Ryan Nemhard, Vladislav Golden, Kobe Johnson. I wish he would shoot the damn ball more, and Donovan Newby. All right, got a lot of guards there on my side. And Mike, I'm not going to lie to you, aside from Golden, obviously from Michigan on my side. But listen, I was looking at some of your notes here. Your tournament cores are usually based around the backcourt. A lot of backcourt players, a lot easier to project them sometimes and sort of figure out, what their title game is going to be here. A lot of front court players in your core plays here, Mike. So break that down for us as we close out this show with your tournament core core type plays.
Yeah, core type plays. We're giving you more because it's a 16-game environment, right? We want to give you some more here. So, yeah, I've got a lot of forwards on this list. Hunter Dickinson at 10K. Like, this is an awesome spot.
Give me all of that.
Yeah, all of that, man. He's playing awesome right now. He's live to play 36 to 38 minutes in this spot. Victor Locken, he is way too cheap for his upside at 6,400. Kadir Copeland for 5,600 against McNeese. Like, I just want him to play 30 plus minutes. If he still plays 26 to 28, he's going to be awesome. Just high rates across the board on that side. Braden Huff is, if he starts, he's going to be the most popular play on the slate, one of the highest projected players on the slate. Seeing with Gonzaga, obviously you have Nembhard in the more of a safer floor. Well, Braden Huff and Graham Ike in that front court are like your high ceiling tournament options. I mean, Ike, this guy can put up 40, 45 fantasy points in like 19 minutes. So he's projecting around 25 to 26 minutes. This is a really good game environment with Georgia. So Ike there, Danny Wolf, that's your boy. I mean, yeah, he could put up 45 in this spot. Like, one of those two bigs is going to be good. You just like the ceiling of Wolf a little bit more because he does everything when he's on. Eric Daly at 5,500. Mick Cronin, if you could tell me before Thursday if he's going to get 18 minutes or if he's going to play 32 minutes, he can do everything at 5,500. He's got a big ceiling, 30 to 35 fantasy points for this price tag. And then Milicic or Opara. They're too cheap going against a Wofford front court that's not going to be as imposing. Milicic is, how many guys at 5K are going to be able to go for 30 to 35 fantasy points, man? So there it is right there, Jay. Hunter Dickinson, Victor Locken, Kadir Copeland, Braden Huff. If he's starting, Graham Ike, Danny Wolf, Eric Daly, and Igor Milicic. So, up and down the ride there, man. Give you some ones at the top of the price pool, some of the ones in the middle, and some of them at the very bottom.
If you just went like Dickinson, Locken, Copeland, and Huff, obviously Huff starting, like just those first four that you said, that's going to give you quite a bit of cash to work with there.
Yeah.
You can get back in, you can scoot back up into the 8K range for another big name if you want to there. I like that a lot. But again, Eric Daly and Milicic, like those are two guys in that mid fives range. That's not too bad. That, guys that I absolutely will have my fingerprints all over in this slate. Okay, Darren, we know that Mike brings the heat. You know that he brings the juggling chainsaws while riding motorcycles type plays. That's what he does, and that's why we love him. We did it. We made it all the way through here, just over an hour and a half. We had a little bit of a goal set ahead of the show. We almost got there. Hey, we did good. 16 games in an hour and a half, guys and gals. Breaking it down like we do here on One and Done. Sheesh. Close us out, Mike, on your last thoughts here. Obviously, we're recording this on Tuesday night before anything else happens, any other news drops. So if you're taking this in later on, take that into consideration and follow at One and Done CBB for any updates for sure. But Mike, as we record on Tuesday night, what are your sort of thoughts heading into this?
It's a 16 gamer, man. You got to take, even on 10, 12 gamers, you got to take shots that just feels uncomfortable for ceiling. So that's why we kind of gave you those tournament plays. Cause could those guys score 8 fantasy points? Absolutely. Could they go 5X, 6X? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Join our One and Done Invitational, $5 to join that. Our One and Done Bracket Challenge. We'll be sending out some BracketBids invites to do that. And yeah, man, we'll be coming back probably tomorrow, if not the next day, with DFS content, with some recap stuff, some more picks, maybe some bets. So yeah, we're gonna be busy.
Yeah, we are going to be busy for sure. And we are going to be busy with you, the breadheads, the one and done universe. We appreciate everybody for sure. We made it all the way through, Cam. We appreciate you, Darren, Michael Peterson, making it all the way through the show. My guy, way to go. We definitely appreciate you for doing that. Still here, letting us know. Still here. I'm still standing. I'm still strong. Letting us know he was here for sure. Peanut Butter Posse hopping in there. We definitely appreciate one of the OGs there. And what looked like a sort of an array of personalities just hopping in and out of the live chat tonight as well. We love it all. And we love you for hanging out with us. Like and subscribe for sure. Shout out to @FantasyNav in those Twitter streets. Eric the Blue pushing the buttons, bringing you the graphics tonight. We appreciate him. Shout out to the Hall of Famer CC Hustle, doing the stuff behind the scenes, pushing the buttons on some nights. When our guy Eric, Eric needs some time off too. We'll just put it in rotation. Good stuff. We appreciate the behind the scenes guys. We appreciate El Capitan, of course, at MC Holland 34 on X. The MC Holland 34 Invitational, obviously coming your way. True TV is on Darren's television. It's got him hooked. It's Impractical Joker marathons. You're just gonna sit there all damn day, Darren. You could do worse stuff, though. Make sure you just mix in one and done every once in a while, too, won't you? We appreciate it. Hang out with us soon. I mean, like you said, Mike, we recorded this. We're talking, it's actually it is after midnight on the East Coast. It's about to be after midnight here, but it's Tuesday still here. We're going to talk on Wednesday night again. We'll see you very, very soon. Take care of yourselves. Tell somebody you love them. I am JAYHEINRICH. Come again. We'll see you.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.